Hi, this is Jeff with Heating Green, and today I wanted to take a video to show you a comparison of a few different heaters that you can use to take the chill out of your garage. Personally, I like to work in the garage year-round, but in the winter it can get a little bit chilly, and right now it's about mid-February in the Pacific Northwest. I'd say it's probably high 40s or low 50s in the garage here, and there's a number of different plug-in solutions that you can use to take the chill out of your garage, warm it up a little bit, just so it's comfortable enough to do projects out here and feel comfortable. So I went ahead and took 3 heaters that you can have to produce some heat in your garage. They're all 1500 watts, so they all have the same output of heat, but there are some differences to consider in terms of their features and benefits. And normally when I'm looking at comparing heaters, it really comes down to 3 things. And that is the ease of wiring, the functionality, and the aesthetics. Now these are all plug-in solutions, so from an ease of wiring perspective, there's no hard wiring required. They're all plugging into an outlet or an extension cord or what have you. For aesthetics, I'll let you be the judge. I may be biased, but of course I prefer Heating Green's Cove heater. But the functionality is really where it gets down to some key differences, both in terms of the heat and then in terms of the consistency and also where things are placed. So to start with placement, I put this up on the bench just to show it, but normally this space heater would be sitting down on the floor. And it's not going to be conducive if you're trying to walk back and forth. It's going to get in the way. Also, the heat produced from it, it predominantly is creating convective heat that rises above the heater, and it really is nice and warm. If I have my hand above here, it feels really, really good. But if I'm off to the side, it's very nominal, and if I'm more than a few feet away, I really can't feel it at all. And so it is going to provide some ambient heat for a room, but it's not going to be conducive for if you're really wanting to feel comfortable and moving around at your workstation. Next on my left, I have a convective form of heat that is also 1500 watts and gets coils really hot and then blows air over those coils to create warm air. Now this, again, it does feel good to have your hand in front of it. It is creating hot air, but hot air isn't going to be, or convection isn't going to be as efficient as, say, a radiant form of heat that warms mass instead of air as its primary effect. Also, this is taking up usable space on the workbench, and I'm only really feeling it, again, if I'm in front of it. If I'm over here, I would have to move the heater over here so that I can feel it as I'm moving around doing projects. Lastly, above me, I have the Heating Green 1500 watt Cove heater. And a few things you can note about this. One is that it doesn't take up usable space. It's mounted up on the wall, radiating heat down with the infrared effect so that I don't have to move it around. It's not taking up anything on the ground or on the worktop. Also, it gets a lot hotter. So I'll take the infrared gun here that measures temperature, and all these heaters are on. If I go up on the space heater, maybe you can see it, the top is going to be the hottest, and it's to about 200 degrees. Almost. It says 193. There we go, 200. If we go to the convective heater over here, also measuring the temperature in there, it gets up to about 250. I saw it hit 270 at one point on the coils. But again, this is very concentrated in a small box that's blowing hot air through it. If we go up to the infrared heater, here we have 345 degrees. I'll keep zooming over. 340. 344, 307, 337. So it's all in the low to mid 300s. It gets a lot hotter and it's over a much larger surface area. So it's going to produce a much greater radiant effect in terms of what you'll feel in feeling warm when you're working on projects. So I'll go ahead and switch over to an infrared camera so you can actually visually see the difference, which I think will help a lot. And yeah, we'll go ahead and do that and see what it looks like. This is Jeff with Heating Green, and I'm back with an infrared camera. So after we shot that video, I thought it would be useful for you to visually see the differences between these 3 heaters with an infrared camera. I'm just a silhouette because I am not hot enough compared to these for the range right now. But we'll go ahead and zoom in on these 3 heaters. So starting with the one on my right, this is the space heater. You can go ahead and see with the infrared video what the temperatures are and how it differentiates between the different areas of the heater. So you'll notice, for example, between the fins, not a lot of heat because there isn't any heat being produced between those. if you go on my left, you see the convective heater with the coils. And again, you'll see that the heat is predominantly concentrated within those rows of where the heaters are. But then if you go above me to the cove heater, you'll see that it's very consistent across the whole face of the heater. And that is because the element of that heater is run in a zigzag pattern on the back in a really, really tight band, which produces a clean, uniform amount of radiant heat across the whole surface versus being concentrated. And that produces a greater ambient effect of the radiant heat that you can feel no matter if you're standing directly in front of it or maybe a little bit off to the side. So this is just a visual representation that I wanted to show with you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.